My name is Hernan, and thank you everyone for this opportunity to share a little bit of something that I had opportunity to learn. And then I found it can be very helpful for because we're living in a world with so much, urgency for everything. And every time we talk to technology, I notice um, there are some tendencies to make things only select things, um, only pick up things that are very complex. And in some sense, people likes to relate that complexity is a meaning for good things and not necessarily. Sometimes simplicity is very good. So I'll try to do a presentation and focus on simplicity. This is a technology, it's free, and we can easily start using it. And then if you find this useful, you might find a way to simplify some of the tasks you do every day, and you'll gain some time eventually. So I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, right, and I'm going to pick up the presentation I have for this. And all right, so this is basically the topic for today is temporal workflow. And generally speaking, this is less plumbing, because every time you create software, there are also other things. I mean, having a running software is not all the job you have to do to finally get the solution you're looking for. You also need to allocate this. You also need to take care. You also probably need to keep an eyes when things fail. All right. So if you use technologies like workflow, you might reduce all this extra work that nobody wants in life. All right. That takes me to the next slide, and this is basically the topics we'll be covering. And I want to emphasize, I like to present this. This is a technology. It's very complex. This is a technology that is capable of doing multiple things, but I'll be covering only the basics. And I will try to focus on how strong is this, so we can understand really the basics, because going from once we get in the starting point, going beyond is absolutely, not so painful, if you let me use the word. So I'll try to mention about the temporal, what it is, what is exactly workflows in the computer science. Um, some of the components used for this, because you need a component that will manage whatever you need. And you also need to talk to this component and say, hey, do this for me, and do this for me, and do this for me. Okay, and do in this order, and do in this way. And if something happened, please do this again. So it's not just having the ability to say, hey, do this and this. No, we also need the ability to say, if something happened, please try it again. Or perhaps you need to say, hey, and try it again, and try it again, and try it again, and try as many times as needed if you want. Or not say, no, try just in 10 minutes, try this. Then wait for 2 hours. Then wait for 2 days for something. Yeah. All right. So that's that. With that said, as you can see, is one of the topics here is the resilience, which is basically the ability to do something with minimum impact, and the ability to adjust a little bit so you can meet the goal anyway. All right. All right. And I'll try to also create my first workflow, and then we will have a questions and comments. However, if someone feel like he has a question anyway, and then in order to maybe not forget about the questions, yeah, please just raise your hand or let me know. I'll be also keeping an eye in the chat. Okay. All right. Okay. The next slide is about real examples, how companies can use this. Okay. I know so far it's been too much blah, 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 excuse me for the word, and then just text. Okay. So I'll try to go as soon as possible to the, we need some background first. All right. For instance, ways companies can use this for running. Okay, for instance, to daily run a security check. Maybe you're working in human resources, maybe in finance or something else. Okay, so you need to do something daily or hourly or monthly. Okay, or stuff like this. You can use this. You can also run surveys. And running a survey is, hey, send this by email or maybe pop up, and then wait for the answers. Once the answer, you know, the person on the other side can respond this a minute later or maybe a month later. So you need to keep checking. But this is very time consuming because we also have another task to do. So this technology can also help you to assist you in automating this very boring process. All right. For instance, if a company has a new client, there are some basic stuff that needs to be delivered. All right. Maybe the company has one user, lot of users. Maybe each user is going to have some accounts, some basic stuff, some data. Okay, that's the point. Also, maybe the company needs create some sample data, etc., etc. So you don't want to be there doing a very manual process. You can also have an automation like this. Okay. So what is a workflow? It's basically it's basically an engine that handles state management or actions. Action 1, then action 2, action 3, etc., etc. Okay. So in computer science, a workflow is not sequentially. It's not like you wake up and then you pick up your shoes and then you go and brush your teeth. Yeah, it can be different things. You may need to wake up and then attend someone in the door because it's knocking, stuff like this. So a workflow needs to be also smart, conditions based, right? I'll do this. If this happen, I'll go here or here or here, this kind of things. That's why you see this order is not like, I don't know, like logical, Okay. For instance, if you're not absolutely not familiar with the word, there's a very famous program. It's free as well. It's VLC. So you select your songs or videos in a specific order, and in the same way it will execute. This is one way. Okay. Okay. Now I'll continue with the next slide. For instance, something I just mentioned now, Temporal will try over and over and over as many times as you need based on your logic. Okay. Basically, this is the structure. Okay. This is how you work with your, let me use this slide to give you familiar with some terminologies. This is your code. They provide some samples, and then you can add minimum change and you'll get some automation. All right, that change you need to do inside an activity. So activity is very important. It's the very specific task you need to be executed in a specific order. Okay, an activity will be controlled by a workflow. All right, so in the Temporal UI, you will see the workflows because inside you will see the actions performed by the activities. Okay, then you will have something like a worker. So worker is the internal element that takes care of the workflow, right? The workflow can fail. Maybe internally, Temporal is having some issues. It also have internal components just to recover this. Okay, so basically a worker managed workflow, a workflow managed activity, and the activity is taking care of your code, your specific instructions. And the stuff is like a technical word for the a workflow execution. All right. Now, what you see here is this. This is the screen for a Temporal. I'm going to stop here for a moment and say this is basically the screen. This is real life Temporal UI. It's a website. It's running in your computer, and it has the historical actions you have done. If I click in this area, I'll be able to get some detail. The time it started, the time it closed, and the name you assign. All these things we can control. And in this case, because it's a very simple example, the logic in this case is I send the word. My logic says, hey, expect a word. And then once you get that, please just concatenate or add something else to the word I'm sending. In this case, it's just a hello. So the output is this. And if I click in the little icon, I can see that it was completed. It can also be terminated, because if you are running and you change your mind, you no longer need this. You can access this and click terminate, because otherwise it will not finish, which is basically what we want. All right, I'm gonna make it stop here, and I'm gonna break the rules a little bit, because it's too much blah blah blah, and maybe people can get a little boring. This is my code, which I got it from here. Okay, in this direction, you can see instructions to get the smart component that will execute your stuff. Right? We call this the server. Then you also need to download samples to talk to your component. Everything is free. Everything is ready to be used. No cost. It's open source. So all you need to do is just little patience to download and understand. Now, for instance, I just download this and run this command using Docker, which means I need to have Docker, which is free as well. You can have Docker in Mac, Linux, Windows, no problem. This is an extra step. And like this, and you are going to see this. I can stop this component and restart it again at the end, but it takes a little bit. So that's why I prefer to keep it running right now. Okay. So this is the first step. Download Docker, because it will contain the execution. It will take care of the temporal server running. All right. Then you can download the samples, right? And then inside the sample, you'll see a lot of ways to use different languages. If you're a programmer, and if you go, let's see, to this page, you'll see you can use Java, Python, PHP, TypeScript, different things, right? And then so you will use your language you're familiar with, you're more comfortable with, and then you create the automation. All right. So what I did so far is this. This is the samples I just mentioned here. Okay. Now I'm gonna write it down so I don't forget. Because again, I want to emphasize and create a very simple presentation, strictly focus on simplicity. I haven't created anything here. This is just code ready for me to use. It's just a little bit exposure I need to understand where I have to allocate. Okay. Now I'm gonna close or collapse this. And just for, if you are also wondering the elements here, as you can see, it's just a class. I mean, this is one example, okay? Activity with retry. Activity is, like we mentioned before, is every single action you need your automation to execute, okay? And the retry is because this is one of the excellent features from this. It has the ability to retry and retry and retry, okay? I'm gonna try to run this, and I'm gonna try to break it over and over. So we will really challenge this server, and we will see if this is true, that this is so powerful, and then it can continue doing over and over, okay? To do that, I first want to show you the basic structure for an activity. It has this like labels, okay? It says, and programmers are more familiar with this, I know, but it's a workflow interface. So basically one interface to be used by the workflow, and then another one for the activity. That's it. Next, you will see two methods. One is the implementation for the workflow interface, and the other one for the activity implementation. So pretty easy. Interfaces, and then two methods to use that. And then the main method. Inside here, you will see, like I just mentioned, a stop. It stops the instance of a workflow. First thing we need to do. I haven't changed. I haven't done anything here. Everything is ready for me. Then the workflow. In this case, they call it as a client. Then the worker factory. Then the worker which is like who manage the workflows. Okay, and then in this case, the worker needs to be put aware we are going to run something. That's why it says register. Okay, and a couple more things like factory store. Okay, so all I need to do is click here and run. But before, let's say I'm very busy. Let's say there's something I gotta do every day. It's so boring, but it's very important. Okay, it's like I have to access my email and check for something. Maybe I'm waiting for people to apply for a job. Maybe my boss is waiting for, say, hey, every new complaint. Maybe I need to create a data file. It could be something for human resources, for finance, for management, etc. Anything. In this case, let's pretend I have to access my email, and I don't want to do that. I want something to check my email as often as I need, every minute, every hour, every day. Okay, so in page 145, I think. Here's the logic they did to configure this activity. It says this is a practical example. In this case, they are forcing to have an error. Okay. So basically saying, hey, run this and run this before you reach the number 6 times. Before, excuse me, 5 times. So what I did is I just add this little simple code. This code, I just went to internet and found a way to access my email and to meet the credentials. And that's it. And it will be giving me some answers. And this code is going to check for that answer. I can perfectly take this and collect to a file and check this file every week or at the end of the day. But I'm not going to do anything. It's just to see that workflow can execute, and it can also take whatever the return for that process at the end of the process. Something like this. Okay. With that said, I'm going to, as I said, click here and let's see. This is going to work. It's doing something. Before, everything here is not running. Oh, it's running. Look, it's wrong. It's now running. So you see now one Chrome instance. I haven't done anything. Look, it's doing everything for me. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's say this is a very complex process. Again, it can be more complex. Oh, look, second time. Now you see 2 elements. Okay. And it waits for some time and then run this. Okay, so let's see. I said before you reach 6. So now, oh, number 3. So it's working. It's doing something for me. It's very simple. I know. But like I said, I just want to emphasize how strong temporal workflows are. It will run this, even if you try to break it. I'll try to break it in a moment. So 3 times now. Okay. In this case, of course, what I'm trying to do is just personal information. I mean, let's say this is a super critical email I need. Yeah. So how many instances of Chrome? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I should be able to see 2 more as per my logic. Okay. So all I need to do is just wait and see 1. Oh, number 4. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1 more spending. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna take advantage. Okay, it's still running, but I still see 4. Okay, checking the execution is still working. Okay, so that it's a perfect opportunity for me to say, hey, at this level, I see is waiting for about 10 seconds. About in related to the time the activity is pretty much done and the next activity. 10 seconds, it depends on how long the browser takes to open, render, etc., etc. Okay, so let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. Okay, yes. Okay, I think still one more. Yes, there you go. 5 instances of this. Okay, so right now the automation I need is doing this, but let's say it's too often. No, let's say it's taking too much time. I want to see this faster. Okay, so this is the retry mechanism. You try and try it again and try it again. Okay, we can also create activity 1 and then go activity 2, 3, or 4. But this is not the focus for today's presentation, because I prefer to simplify and create and give you a very brief overview about the simple process between installing, started to use, see how it works, try to kill it. That's it. Okay. All right. Want to see, is it still running? Maybe it's checking. Okay. If I access, it's still running. It's telling me the time it started and some information like the activity ID, because they have a lot of documentation and resources. You can also use this and say, hey, if today is Monday, run this activity. If it's not, run this. Hey, if it's taking more than an hour, kill it and try something else. Yeah, all this is available in the documentation. Okay, it's still running. I'm gonna come back here. Okay, very soon it will say is done. I mean, it's completed. I need to just wait for this to finish. Okay, in the meantime, I like to focus on this Chrome. I don't want to kill it now because I want to wait for this to be finished. It's just because, for the sake of this presentation, I want to show you, for how long this is going to take to reach the completed status. Yeah, so still running, checking. Okay, we will see something like build succeed here. Okay, perfect. Look at this. It's finished. Okay. So I should be able to see something else here. It's completed. Now, let's try to change this. Okay, I said 145, I think. No, over here. Oh, great. Yes. Hello, 145. Yes. Okay. Okay. 6 attempts is one of the things. What if I select 2 seconds and try it again? I should be able to see this faster. Let's see. Okay, start it again. It's the same logic. Okay, here it goes. Oh, I forgot to cancel the other instance. Okay. Okay, one more. And I'm going to try to cancel this by doing what? I'm going to see if temporal is as strong as they claim it is. I just kill everything. And I'm ready to kill the next session. Okay, look at this. It's still trying again. Ha! I'm going to kill it again. Temporal, I'm going to try to break you is probably the message I want to detect. Okay. I think he noticed. Look at this message. Let's see. He's tried again. Now, let's see if this time he's able to finish the very complex logic I try. Look, it's still going here again and again. And this time, he's following my instructions. Hey, in the beginning, he was running very late. Now I need things to be faster. No, stuff like this. It's still doing this. I'm gonna cancel again. Maybe this time I'll succeed killing this software, the execution. Oh, I'm not okay. Probably it already reached the 5 different instances. Let's see. Okay, I think I can check for questions. How can I do that? Okay, sure. Okay, how can you show? Okay, can you show again how do you handle credentials for logging into platforms? They are hard coded in place. It's an excellent question. It's a very good question. And of course, I can show you this. Okay, it's still running. And you are right. I'm hard coding that, but it's just okay. It finished. Okay, so that means I kill all the different instances. I mean, by the time I cancel again, it already complete the transaction. Okay, that's why it started. Excuse me, has already been stopped. But so far, I haven't been able to kill it. Okay, I can kill the activity. However, it will retry and retry and retry. Okay. All right. So as per the question from Sebas, yes, this is automation. This is not part of the samples you'll get. I just add this class here just for the sake of this presentation. And this is just I'm using. I just look on the internet and found a way. Now, I was thinking, hey, what can be a very graphical way to, to show the audience how this works, how strong it is. So in this case, it's just I'm using the driver, the Chrome driver. That's why you see Chrome. It can be Firefox driver or Opera browser driver, etc. Waiting for some time, and then the credentials. Yes, I'm putting credentials in this case. This is the email, and this is the etc. etc. Okay, so this is basically, yeah. Give me just a second. Excuse me. Yes. Okay. So Sebas, if you still feel like you still have questions, but yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, someone was in the door. All right. So coming back to this activity, so this is the server. Okay, and this is how the interaction between what I need and the server. Okay, now how can I start the server with this running? I mean, things we covered already. I download Docker. I download the temporal server, the code from temporal that is called server, and I execute this. Then I use the temporal samples, which is also called SDK, software development kit, with samples. I just modify a little bit and then start using and try to kill it, and I couldn't. Okay, all right. Now, I think it's a good time to see how Temporal server can be fired up, because this is something we haven't covered yet. This is the guy. Okay, it's running, but I'm asking to be stopped. Oh, it gets very unorganized. Okay, so stopping. So at this address, I download this Docker Compose as a state, and here, Temporal. Yeah, very simple. They say download this and run it against Docker. Okay. So to install Docker, maybe I need to start with Docker. Okay, all you have to do is download Docker, get Docker desktop. Okay, and then you can download for Windows. I don't say one more time. Docker for Windows. Install Docker for Windows, pretty much. Then you run this. Then you're gonna get Docker running. Okay. Depending of your connection, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then you will get this empty. Then all you have to do is start Docker using the UI or the command line. You can do CD and get your location. And then you do inside this folder, Docker ls, you will see different elements. Don't worry about this. Don't worry for now. If you're curious, if you feel ambitious to understand every single detail, that's fantastic. Inside, you'll see cron jobs from the Linux side, Elasticsearch, which is technologies to speed up the search, and other components, including the Angular technology used in the browser for the interface. It also has inside a database component. Everything inside is just to keep your activities up and running no matter what. Okay. To start this, just type Docker compose app. And then you will see Postgres, Elasticsearch. Oh, it was so fast. Maybe I can go back. Yes. Okay. Elasticsearch, the UI, some additional admin, elements for the web, etc. Well, this is still firing up a lot of things. Okay. Now let's see. Delete everything. And it's running. It says it's completed. Okay. And again, pretty much the same information. It says it's completed. Again, you probably notice, hey, but I just noticed something else was done and I don't see the evidence here. Yeah, if you want, you can do that. No problem. By going here. The input should be, in this case, hello world. Okay, this is the method. Like I said, we need two interfaces and the methods to implement the interfaces, and then the main method. That is the structure for a Java program. It can be a little bit different for Python or other languages, but essentially this is how you can change. And then anyway, you'll see the method where you can send the information you need, the input. It can be an object, it can be a string, it can be a Boolean, all right? And then you process, and then you upload whatever you want. You can also modify this to say, hey, it took this amount of time. You can also call another component to inform, send an email, stuff like this. I think I have more questions. Can those workflows, this is in this case, Daniel Vivek, it's saying, hey, can those workflows be added on the fly? I mean, by adding or modifying a code only by web interface? Can those workflows be added on the fly? The component is running. Whenever you run in the samples, if you run this over and over, you will be creating more and more and more. So yes, actually, if you allow me to also say this, what I'm going to is, it's a server. It's not like VLC, because in VLC, only the user from the current user in the computer can interact with the list of videos or music. Because this is Docker-based component, it will get as many requests as your hardware allows. You can run the main method, for instance, over and over and over, and it will be at different threads. Okay. And then you will see different workflows on the fly. Every workflow should be related to, it's like, hey, I can copy this code, second IntelliJ section 2 or 3 times and say, hey, run this for me, and then switch to another IntelliJ, run again, go to the main method, run again, and we will see 2 workflows. So yes, the answer is yes, because it's a server technology, Linux-based. You can send as many as you want, as many as your hardware supports. Yeah. All right. I can maybe try to run a simple, this is another way, a very simple activity. It doesn't have sorry, this is very big. Doesn't have the retry mechanism. I'm gonna say run, and I'm gonna I'll hurry to see it running. It's 10:31, 10:44. Therefore, yeah, it's just done too fast. Okay, another one maybe. Again, code is very big. Let's see. 10:44, still 10:34. Oof. Now I'll get confused. Which one is one? Green workflow. Yeah, with completion right here. Okay. And I know maybe some people might say, yeah, but can you now run something more complex? Yeah, I wish I can do this. The problem is the some steps, the additional steps. I was wondering if that might confuse people, because it's little difficult to find a very simple sample that you graphically see the power of this. Okay, so I see 2 more questions. All right, so I have a question from, I was just thinking of the scenario where every time you have a new hire, then different people with different accounts have admin access in different platforms. Yes, very, very real scenario. And each one must create an account, each platform from the new hire. Yes, yeah. So we could have many workflows, one per platform. Yes, of course. And then a master workflow, that will fire each of them. How could we secure these access credentials? That's very interesting question. And the best answer I can give you right now is this. Let me just go into my activity to try, and you are the owner for this code. Okay. It's up to you to create additional credentials before your code start running the main thing. What I'm trying to say is, this is a class, okay? So you can say this, you can validate externally, not inside this technology. You know, to be honest, I don't know if they have some sort of security in place. You know, I don't know yet. This is something maybe I can investigate. But before you reach this class and that main method, you can perform a validation on top of this. So you can say, hey, are you Sebas? Okay. You have a password, you have a user, okay. And then you can validate this, and upon successful, you can then finally say, okay, hello, activity try, and then run the main method. That's one way. For different user, you can also say the same. Okay, are you the one you claim you are? Okay, credentials, boom, go ahead, and so forth. But I think it has to be validated before you reach this code. Otherwise, you can run this code. All right, that's the thing. Yeah. How can I get back to questions? Shot. Yes, it says, can you retrieve them from the environmental variables, Google Secret Store, AWS? It's just Java, Python, Go code. Can you do whatever you can in this language? I mean, from the Java samples, which is what I'm more familiar with, I can access anything. I can go AWS, I can go Google, I can go Azure, and retrieve anything, because it's just, I mean, they are giving us the power of the language. With Java, you can do anything. So they are saying, once you do whatever you want on top, here's how you run a workflow. Here's how you can cancel the workflow. Here's how you can retry over and over and over. All right. I think one aspect we should not forget about is hardware has a limit. And if you're running in cloud, yeah, you can maybe run a lot of workflows. But remember, just let us keep in mind the compute processing is one of the bases they use for the billing process. If you have your own server, you don't need to worry about that. But in the case of running in the cloud, because this is very powerful, but it's also resources consumption. All right. And if you create a very interesting automation, and I'm sure we all have a lot of very boring tasks, very boring. And if you can automate, you will be with your legs on the desk, watching everything. So you can perfectly go pick up your kids in school or go hospital to see someone. And at the same time, you can keep checking if something is wrong. And you don't have to, ask for someone, hey, hold on, I need to turn on my computer, submit all the credentials. No, because all these power things will be at the host level, running everything. And then it can send you messages, and you can also say, okay, in this case, stop. In this case, continue running, right? From your smartphone, because the power is workflow is very obedient. If you say never stop, it will never stop. I really try. And no, as long as the logic continue running, as long as the logic is implemented in such a way that it will continue running and running. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, perfect. What else? No, sorry. Maybe I need to come back to. Okay, gotcha. Right. I can't maybe just try one more time to see if I can kill this. But I'll be more aggressive this time. Okay, I don't see Chrome instances. Do it for me. I'm gonna, because 5 instances. Okay, number 1, I need to hurry. Okay, you're terminated. Okay, number 1, I will only wait for the last one. Okay, number one is cancel. Okay, it's still running. No, honey. I just killed you again. Oh, again it goes. No, you're not gonna run. I think 3. Hopefully I'm not mistaken. This is still running, so I'm confident. Number 4, and I'm not gonna kill anything. I wanna see if the last one is perfectly capable to complete the process. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Boom. Yep. Okay. Okay, perfect. Something I forgot, and I apologize, is this. The logic is this. The automation. Yes. Yes. No. Yeah. How can I access? For some reason, my mouse is, hello, the automation. Okay. At the end of the process, for instance, if in my email search, if there were matches, I'm saying, hey, say this. If not, like this. So let's see if this happened already. Nothing found. Okay, that makes sense because I did found a match to what I was looking for. Okay, there you go. How many times? Only one, because I kill the previous 4. But if I don't kill, you will see this match over and over. Okay, that is it. My code, this very specific thing is returning. I mean, workflow is very obedient. He does things. He will retry, and he will also wait for an answer. And I can do whatever I want with this answer. I can run another activity, another workflow. I can kill a current execution workflow, for instance. Okay, now you might be wondering, oh no, Hernan, but there's a problem. What if we set up things to run, perpetually? And how can we stop this? Yeah, I think I mentioned something previously. Hello and retry is this. I'm looking for the main, run, and then to my server. Here's my server. Okay, so it's running. So all I need to do is access here and terminate. Terminate. Now things are different. Now this will stop working because from the portal server, yes, you have the power to stop it. So we gotta be careful to, if you're working in the infrastructure and you want to create automation things for other people, don't give them access to this. All right, because otherwise they will be able to continue. Okay, it's terminated. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I no longer see more emails running. Yeah, it's terminated. Okay, and you no longer see anything else. All right. So those in the SDK, you will see a lot of things. You can also investigate how to run a child or hello dynamic. I have no idea what's that. Hello with exception. I also need to spend time on this, right? Because again, my focus was simplicity and see how obedient and strong is this. Okay, I see another message. What if stop and restart server? Will he remember activities? Actually, it's a great question, Oksana, because I just did it, for instance. So this is very particular to me. Again, I'm a lazy person. I don't want to kill things manually, for instance. And then in the PowerShell, I'm just stopping this. Cancel. Okay, I'm stopping this. Okay, I guess internally is putting things together, and it's like leaving the room very clean for the next time. Okay. I think I stop at this. And let's see. Yes, it's already stopped. If I run it again, we will see a lot of commands here. I want to try something else this time. I want to go here and delete completely. Like if this were the first time you are preparing everything. There's a way to check if Docker has everything inside. Docker, excuse me, Docker ps-a. Better this way. It's taking forever. Let's try this. Docker ps. Okay, nothing. There's nothing inside. Yeah. Okay. I'm still inside Docker as per documentation. Docker compose app. This time, this is going to take more time. Because it's initiating the different instances, elements, component, whatever inside, because I just delete everything. So let's see. Let's say I'm kind of desperate. All right, there you go. Just delete and you start over. Okay, just one more time. Let's see what's happened. The first time you run something, run. Yeah, run it for me. Okay. All right. Look, there was an error. Okay. I think the page didn't work. Look at this. It's just 3 now. Kill it. One more. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Browser is failing. My time slot is very short, so I need to adjust this a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Maybe this time. No, it's very, very fast. So one thing I can do is this. In the, what is my automation? Right here. Maybe I can increase this to 3 seconds, maybe. And that's it. I want to stop this. However, this will continue running. I'm sorry, my mouse is running out of battery. Okay, look at this. It's still running. Okay, so terminate. Sorry, I need to do it this way. Okay, let's try it again. Run. 3 seconds. I increase from 2 to 3. Very simple change. Very simple change. Let's see. Okay, not yet. Second chance. Let's see. No. Yeah. This is still not enough. Okay, so one more time. Coming here, running. Sorry. My automation. Where is this? Okay, right here. Let's see. 5. Stop it. I don't need this. That's my baby. Let's see how things go this time. Oh. Let's clean the room first. Okay. No. Okay, now it works. It looks like Temporal is saying, hey, run this for me, run this for me, run this for me. But the browser in my particular logic was a little struggle just to get things render for the next step. So you can see in some way, Temporal doesn't care. He say, no, I'll just worry about my stuff. I'll run every single time. I don't care about this. However, if your stuff run and send me results, I got it. If I don't, never mind. I'll continue running. So Temporal is very, very strong. Very, very strong. That's my final words to this. So I think we cover the different elements, the technology. We talk about activity, workflow, stop. Remember, every time you need something, it's an activity. Your action will be within an activity. A workflow will manage activity. If something failed within the workflow will retry again internally. Also, if you specify retry, the workflow will, visually do the retry again. Then we have the worker and the stop about this. And I use the simple UI sample just for the sake of so we can all see how this automation can be used for our benefits. With that said, I think for people who likes this in future, maybe you can be like this someday. No. Oh no, too much. Like this. You can be perfectly resting. Obviously, you will need to spend some time to adjust, configure things in the right way. But then you can be, just resting. And all your bots running or automation will be taking care of you while you're resting. And then and you can tell your boss, I'm working in a different way, but I'm working. So that's it for me. And final check for questions. Nope. Yeah.